I had a stroke in early 2020, and from the moment that happened, instantly I started having that swishing on this side of the ear. Kind of let it go for a couple of months, and mid-March I went to one of the largest hospitals in Colorado and saw a well-respected ENT. I went through every testing that you can go through for hearing. And actually my hearing was okay. It's just that extra hearing that I had. My normal hearing was fine, but that swishing, I call it, that was there, of course, and they could tell it was there. But they did every test that you could think of for hearing. I had scans. I had MRI scans, and of course, after my stroke, they did that as well. And so I think I had every type of scan that you could think of and hearing tests that you can think of. They were probably more interested in a disease happening in my hearing system where there wasn't. Per se. I mean, there was, for my stroke, I'd had some damage, but there wasn't a disease per se. And I think that's probably what their focus was on more.
And when the ENT clinic was done with all their tests, what did they tell you could do for your situation?
Learn to live with it, was what I was told, that I would have to learn to live with it.
And how did that feel?
Devastating, because it had really changed my life completely, and I thought there was no hope, that this was going to be the rest of my life, and I didn't like it at all. I could not go to sleep. I would, without sleep medicine, with sleep medicine, there's many times I'd wake up and I just thought, surely my husband can hear this, it's so loud. And it was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. I was exhausted because of no sleep. Conversations I couldn't focus because this was always there, always. Even going to church, it was hard to even concentrate. It just took over my life, really. My husband is a retired ER doctor as of March 31st, and he went through this with me, and he suffered just as much as I did with this swishing in my ear. So it wasn't pleasant for both of us. And so I would ask him, can't you hear this? And just put your ear up to mine, you can hear it. And of course he couldn't. And I was constantly up at night, and he would get up at night and wishing he could do something for me, but this was not in his field. And the difference it's made for him is, well, I don't complain about it, and I'm sleeping. And he says it's a miracle for us. He saw the ad on TV, and he said, I'm calling and making you an appointment. And I was, at that point, because I'd been told by one of the top ENTs in the state, and I just thought, well, let's go for it. Let's just see. All they can say is, you're going to have to live with it. And he called. That was on a Friday. They called on Monday. I got in, I think, by Wednesday, and my life changed. I was very encouraged. Be honest, when I first came in, I was a little skeptical because of what I'd been told by top ENT. And I was skeptical and told my husband, we'll see. And then when I came in here, I explained to Dr. Reichert what was going on, and she checked some things, but she just knew. She just knew right away what it was. I explained to her about my stroke, and she understood the connection between the stroke and the swishing, the damage that had occurred. And I never experienced anything like this before, ever. And it was like overnight that this happened. And so she went into detail how things like the damage behind the vessels behind my ear, what happens to that, what causes that swishing. So it was more understandable how it happened. And then she proceeded to show me the different devices and explain the different programs. And then I came in September, about a year ago, and got my devices. And probably within 2 weeks, I noticed a big change. I came back to see Dr. Reichert, and then within a month, I think it was gone, completely gone. And so I wear them every day. The first thing I do in the morning is put them on. The last thing I do at night before I lay down is take them off. And I don't even notice they're in there. The sound is, I just don't hear it, but it's there. I mean, the Zen sound in the device. So, yeah, I won't go without them. I don't hear it at all. No, 100% I think it's blocked. And I think that's why I don't want to not wear them, because it was so miserable before. And it's, to me, it's nothing to put them on in the morning and to leave them on all day. I don't think it's anything other than putting on your glasses or contacts. Yeah, I live in Salida, and we're 2.5 hours from our home to the office. So when I first started coming, I came at 2 weeks, and then a month, and then 3 months, and now it's 6 months. And it's worth it, because we don't have anything like this there. So it's totally worth it to me to come to the city. It's been life-changing for us, for my husband especially, because he was pretty miserable with it too.